to segue into a closer because I've gone with like a really obscure choice. I have no idea how much you know about this.
Please.
I've gone with the SLP, which is Serge Pizzano of Kasabian's solo album from 2017,
Right? I did not know he did a solo.
which is my favorite album ever made.
Wow.
It's like I can't even
You got me
describe how
intrigued now.
good
Because
this album.
wasn't 2017 wasn't that when For Crying Out Loud came out as well?
I
Kasabian.
don't know if this was 2017 even. This might have been a bit later.
Because I was thinking Kasabian dropped that same year.
The SLP. What year did this album come out? 2019. Okay.
There you go. Okay, that explains it.
I think the singles alone set this album up for glory. The two singles from this album had Little Sims as a feature on the first one.
Excuse me, I need to get on this. Wow.
Slow Tie was a feature on the second one.
How do I not know about this? What? I'm getting on this straight away after this podcast. Swear down.
Of Serge Pizzano, Slow Tie, and Little Sims. It's got three instrumental tracks. Usually, I'm not big on instrumental tracks, but the instrumental tracks on this album are unbelievably good. Like they are so. I remember when I listened to this album the first time, I was expecting it to be horrendous. I was like, Serge is doing a solo album. This is not going to be it. And then I remember putting it on, and the first track, the instrumental, I was like, okay, no, he knows what he's doing. I can't even hate it. It's like it's phenomenal. He predicted 2020 lockdown in 2019.
Huh?
There's a track on here called
No meme. No meme.
There's a track on here called Lockdown, and he's talking about what happens in lockdown. You've also got a song called The Youngest Gary, which the whole concept of the song he's talking about how no one calls babies Gary anymore. So it's just literally the youngest person in the world called Gary. But this is what I'm saying. It's like it's creatively, it's just phenomenal. Like there's so much you can take from this album. There's an instrumental track about kung fu. Like there's so much going on in this album. So much to unpack.
Similar to the Arctic Monkeys one, the Chun-Li. What was it called? Like Chun-Li special move or something like
that. Maybe, but
Bigger
there's
Boys.
just so much to like. As a creative mind, this album was the one that was like, okay, Serge is like a force to be reckoned with. Like he's a proper creative.
Yeah.
And this album's just phenomenal. Like the Slow Tie features on an interlude or something, and you don't even realize it's him until like someone told me which track. So I knew he was on the album, but I didn't know where. But he's on one of the interludes. I think it's either Meanwhile at the Welcome Break. It's I think the one that Slow Tie is on. But you get like
that's a great title actually. Wow.
But you get like Lockdown, which is like just like your classic Serge Kasabian like bounce tune. You get The Woo, which is like balls to the wall rock and roll, a bit foldsy. Yeah. You get Trance, which is literally just a trance tune. You get Nobody Else, which starts off as like this piano driven sad song, but then it develops into like this Calvin Harris-esque house song by the end. And it's like a proper summer banger. You get Favourites, which has FIFA written all over it. Which I think it was in FIFA as well, was Favourites. But like, it's a FIFA song. And then you get The Youngest Gary is the last like proper tune on it. And it's just Serge singing about the youngest Gary, man. And this whole album's just phenomenal.
I will have to get on this because this is really, really
know about this.
intriguing.
It's really short as well. It's 38 minutes. So if you have a chance tonight, get on this.
No, I will, because I mean, I'm one of the few people that I think really like Serge as a frontman for Kasabian.
Yeah.
I've always thought Serge was an interesting character, like from just the shit he's done and like on other stuff. Like obviously he's a big football fan. He's been on like Soccer AM. He's done Soccer Aid. And just as a person, he comes off as a very energetic character, and he works as a frontman because you could argue before like Tom left the band. You could argue Serge was more popular and.
In my eyes, Serge always was the front.
The front man, yeah.
Well, he always was the front man because he wrote everything, he penned everything. He just weren't singing it, so he's always been the front man anyway. It's just now he's kind of taken those reins.
Yeah, so I mean, it almost makes sense.
The album that they've put out due to that is like actually one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Kind of contradictory.
There's moments of redemption, but I don't rate it, but I do think they're better off without Tom, and I think like live they're phenomenal. Like the times I've seen them live with Tom versus without, I'd take the without Tom times a million times over. Do you know what I mean? But I just think, yeah, this is the best Kasabian album. It's the best Surge album. It's the best like